Let's discuss linear transformations. Linear transformations are those functions defined on a vector space that preserve the structure. Let us see the definition. Let V and W be the two vector spaces over field F. Then we call a function t from V to W a linear transformation from V to W if for all x and y in vector space V and scalar C in field F, we have these two properties that t of x plus y is equal to tx plus ty and t of cx is equal to c times t of x. Now let us see some properties. If t is linear, then t of 0 is equal to 0. That is, 0 element of vector space is mapped to 0. So let us see the proof. We have t of 0, then 0 can be written as 0 into x. Now by second property, 0 will come outside, so this is equal to 0 into tx, which is equal to 0, where x was any arbitrary element in V. Second property, if t is linear, if and only if t of cx plus y is equal to c times tx plus ty for all x and y in V and c in field F. So this is one criteria to prove that t is a linear transformation. So if suppose t is a linear transformation, then t of cx plus y is equal to tcx plus t of y by using first property, which is equal to c times tx plus ty by using second property. So we get this result, t of cx plus y is equal to c times tx plus ty. Now conversely, if t of cx plus y is equal to c times tx plus ty, if we take c is equal to 1, we get t of x plus y is equal to tx plus ty. So we will get the first condition. And second, if we take y equal to 0, so t of cx is equal to c times tx. So we get that t is linear. Now see the third property, that if t is linear, then t of x minus y is equal to tx minus ty. So in the second property, just take c is equal to minus 1. We get this result. Now fourth result says that t of summation I equal to 1 to n ai xi is equal to summation I equal to 1 to n ai times t of xi. So if suppose t is linear, then t of summation I equal to 1 to n ai xi is equal to, break this into two parts, a1 x1 plus the rest of the summation from I equal to 2 to n minus n. So we will get t of a1 x1 plus t of summation I equal to 2 to n ai xi. Now again break this summation for two parts. We will finally get summation I equal to 1 to n ai t of xi. Now if we have that this equation holds, we can get that t is linear by taking n equal to 2. Let us see this example, that how we show a mapping is a linear transformation. We are defined t from R2 to R2 by t of a1 a2 is equal to 2a1 plus a2 comma a1. We have to show that this is a linear map. Let us take two elements of R2. So let x is equal to a1, x is equal to b1 b2 and y is equal to d1 d2. And we take one scalar element c. We have to show that t of cx plus y is equal to c times tx plus ty. So you have x, you have y, calculate cx plus y, that will be cb1 plus d1 comma cb2 plus d2. So t of cx plus y is this element 2 cb1 plus d1 plus cb2 plus d2 comma cb1 plus d1, and we calculate c times tx plus ty. Since both t of cx plus y and c times tx plus ty are same, this t mapping is a linear mapping. Now we have this rotation by theta. The mapping is defined as t theta applied to a1 a2 as a1 cos theta minus a2 sin theta comma a1 sin theta plus a2 cos theta. Here we are rotating it by an angle of theta in the counterclockwise direction, and we define that t theta applied to 0 comma 0 is 0 comma 0. We again just have to show that t theta of cx plus y is equal to c times t theta x plus t theta y. Next is reflection. So in reflection about x-axis, you are just taking the point a1 a2 to a1 comma minus a2. So t of a1 a2 is equal to a1 comma minus a2, and projection map is A1 A2 is mapped to A1 comma 0. It is projection on the x axis. We can show that all these maps are linear maps using this condition that t of cx plus y is c times tx plus t of y. Just take x and y, x as a1 a2, y as b1 b2, c is any scalar, calculate cx plus y, find t of cx plus y and find tx ty. So you will see that t of cx plus y will come out to be same as c times tx plus ty. Now if we have, next example, if we have a mapping from vector space of all matrices of order m cross n over f to space of matrices of order n cross m over f mapped by Ta is equal to transpose of A. Now we have to see that this T is a linear transformation. So again T of A1 plus A2 is A1 plus A2 whole transpose, that is same as A1 transpose plus A2 transpose, and T of CA is equal to CA transpose, which is equal to C into T of A. So you can see that this is a linear transformation. Next example, if T is mapped from Pn to Pn minus 1 r under the mapping T of fx is equal to f dash x, then we have to show this is linear. So T of a gx plus hx is equal to a gx plus hx dash, derivative of this will be a g dash x plus h dash x. This is same as a t times t of gx plus t of hx. Next example, if we have a vector space of all continuous real valued functions on R and we define t from v to r by t of f is integral a to b ft dt, then we have to show that this is again a linear transformation. Now since the linear combination of functions is same as the linear combination of definite integral of functions, that is t of f1 plus f2 is equal to integral a to b f1 plus f2 dt. Now we can break this into integral, so this will be equal to integral a to b ft plus integral a to b gt dt. Also t of cf is equal to integral a to b cf t dt. C being a scalar can come outside, so this is equal to c times integral a to b f, which is equal to c times t of f. So this t will come out to be a linear transformation. Now for any vector space v and w over f, we define the identity transformation IV from vector space v to v defined by identity map IV of x is equal to x for every x in vector space v. And we define the zero transformation t naught from v to w as t naught x is equal to 0 for every x in v. Now we can clearly see that these two transformations are linear. Next definition, let v and w be vector spaces and t from v to w be a linear map. Now we define the null space or the kernel, we denote this by nt of t to be the set of all vectors x such that tx is equal to 0. So nt is all x in v such that tx is equal to 0. And we define the range or image set Rt of t to be the subset of w consisting of all images under T of vectors in V, that is range of T is equal to Tx where x belongs to V. Now in this example, let V and W be two vector spaces and I from V to V is the identity map, T naught from V to W is the zero transformation. Then null space of I, kernel of I is singleton 0 and range space of I is the complete space V. And the null space of T naught is, since everything is mapped to 0, null space of T naught will be V. And range of T naught will be, everything is mapped to 0, so range is singleton 0. Next example, T from R cube to R square is the linear transformation defined by this map. T of A1, A2, A3 is A1 minus A2, comma 2, A3. Now we have to find null space of T and range of T. Since first we have to verify that it is a linear transformation. So T of A1 plus A1 A2 A3 plus B1 B2 B3 will come out to be T of A1 A2 A3 plus T of B1 B2 B3, and T of C A1 CA2 CA3 is equal to C times T A1, A2, A3. Now null space is all those elements in R cube which are mapped to 0. That is A1 minus A2 is 0 and 2A3 is 0. So if A1 minus A2 is 0, we get A1 is equal to A2 and A3 is 0. So we get null space as this set A comma 0, and next we find the range space. Range space is all elements of the form T of A1, A2, A3, that is of the type A1 minus A2 comma 2A3. So range of T is R square. Now let us see this theorem that when V and W are vector spaces over field F and T from V to W is a linear map, then NT and RT are subspaces of V and W respectively. Now we use the symbol 0V to denote the 0 of vector space W and 0W to denote the 0 element of vector space W. Now T of 0V is mapped to 0W. So 0V belongs to kernel T, NT. So NT is non-empty. Now let X and Y belong to NT and C belong to field F. Then T of X plus Y is Tx plus Ty, since T is linear, which is equal to 0W plus 0W. 0 plus 0 is 0, so this is equal to 0 of W. And T of Cx is C times T of X. X belongs to NT, so T of X is 0. So we get this is equal to 0. Therefore, X plus Y belongs to NT and Cx belongs to NT. So this NT is the kernel of T, is the subspace of V. Next we have to show that range space of T is a subspace. So first we will see this is non-empty. So T of 0V is equal to 0W. So 0W belongs to range space of T. Now let two element X and Y belong to RT and C be a scalar from field F. Then there exists V and W such that T of V is equal to X and T of W is equal to Y. So T of V plus W is equal to TV plus TW is equal to X plus Y, and T of CV is equal to C times TV is equal to CX. So we get that X plus Y, which is equal to T of V plus W, will belong to range space of T, and Cx, which is equal to T of CV, will belong to range space of T. So this range space of T is a subspace of W. Next theorem. Let V and W be the V vector spaces and let T from V to W be linear. Now if beta from V1 to Vn is a basis for V, then range space of T is equal to span of T beta, that is span of this TV1, TV2 till Tvn. So if we know basis of V and we know a linear transformation from V to W, then that basis will be mapped to basis of W. Let us see the proof. Now since Vi belong to V, T of Vi will belong to range space of T. So Tvi belong to range space of T. Since range space of T is a subspace, range space of T will contain the span of Tv1, Tv2, Tvn. That is, it contains span of T beta. So now we want to see that this range space of T is contained in span of T beta. So let us take an element of range space of T. So let W belong to RT. Then W is of the form T applied to V for some V in V. Now because beta is a basis for V, we can express this V in terms of elements of beta. So we get V is equal to summation AI Vi for some scalars AI in field F. Since T is linear, we get W is equal to T of V is equal to summation I equal to N, I equal to 1 to N AI apply into T of Vi, which belongs to span of T beta. So this space RT is contained in span of T beta. Therefore, range space of T is equal to span of T beta. Now please note that even if this beta is infinite, then also range space of T is equal to Tv, where V belongs to beta. Now we already know that span of Tv will always be in range space of T, since range space of T contains elements of the type Tv. To show the converse part, let Y belong to range space of T. Then Y is equal to Tx. Now T is linear and X can be expressed as linear combination of elements from vectors in beta. We get X is equal to summation I equal to 1 to k AI Vi. So we have Y is equal to T of summation I equal to 1 to k AI Vi, which is equal to summation I equal to 1 to k AI times Tvi. which is an element of span of TV where V belongs to beta. Let us see this example. T is a linear transformation from P to R to M 2 cross 2 over R, defined by T of fx is f1 minus f2, 0, 0 and f0. Now beta equal to 1x x square is a standard basis for P to R. Range space of T is equal to span of T beta. We can find T beta, that is we can find T of 1, T of x square. Span of that is equal to range space of T. So span of 0, 0, 0, 1. T of 1 is f1 minus f2, 1 minus 1, 0, 0, 0, f of 0 is again 1. So first element we get 0, 0, 0, 1. For second element T of x. So f1 minus f2, 1 minus 2 we get minus 1, 0, 0, f of 0. So f of 0 is again 0. So we get second element minus 1, 0, 0, 0. Third element T of x square. So f of 1 minus f of 2, 1 minus 4 we get minus 3, all rest will come to be 0. We get the third element. Now please see the third vector is dependent on the second vector. If we multiply the second vector by 3 we will get the third vector. So span of these three vectors is same as span of the next two vectors. So we get RT is equal to span of these two vectors, and so the dimension, these two vectors are linearly independent, and so this is the basis for range space of T, and the dimension of range space of T is equal to 2. Now next we define two things, nullity and rank. If suppose V and W is a vector space and T, V to W is a linear map, then range space of T and null space of T are finite dimensional. Then if null space of T and range space of T are finite dimensional, then we define the nullity of T denoted by nullity bracket T and rank of T to be the dimensions of null space and range space of T respectively. So the dimension of null space is nullity and dimension of range space is rank of T. Now we come to dimension theorem. Let V and W be vector spaces and let T from V to W be a linear map. If V is finite dimensional, then nullity of T plus rank of T is equal to dimension of V. Now suppose that dimension of V is equal to n and dimension of null space of T is equal to k. So let V1, V2, Vk is the basis of null space of T. Now we can extend this basis to the basis of V. So we extend this V1 to Vk to a basis beta of V1 to Vn for V. Now we claim that S equal to T of Vk plus 1, Vk plus 2 till Vn. Those vectors which we have added under the extension part mapped under the T is the basis for range space of T. So basically we are claiming that this S will generate range space of T. V1 to Vk are basis for NT. So T of Vi for I equal to 1 to k will be mapped to 0. So range space of T is equal to span of TV1, TV2, TVn. We have seen this under the previous theorem. Now since all from V1 to Vk are mapped to 0, we get this is equal to span of TVk plus 1, Vk plus 2, TVn, which is equal to span of S. Now to show that this set is linearly independent, we consider the linear combination summation I equal to k plus 1 to n bi t of vi equal to 0. We have to show that these scalars bi is equal to 0. Now using the fact that t is linear, we get this is equal to t applied to summation from I equal to k plus 1 to n bi vi is equal to 0. That is the summation bi vi I from k plus 1 to n belongs to kernel space of T. Since we know that the basis of null space of T was V1 to Vk, so we get this B summation I equal to k plus 1 to n bi vi is equal to summation I equal to 1 to k ci vi. Now we bring everything one side, we get this combination equal to 0. Since beta is a basis for V, we have all bi's is equal to 0, and hence we get S is linearly independent, and therefore T of Vk plus 1, Vk plus 2 till T of Vn is a basis, and all these elements are distinct, and therefore dimension of range space of T That is, rank of T is equal to n minus k. Now we see the next theorem, that if V and W be any vector spaces and T from V to W be linear, then T is 1 1 if and only if null space of T contains singleton 0. Suppose that T is 1 1 and let X belongs to NT. We have to show that this X will come out to be 0. Since X belongs to NT, T of X is equal to 0, which is equal to T of 0, but the map is 1 1, so X will be 0. So NT is equal to singleton 0. Second part, conversely, if NT is equal to singleton 0, we have to show the map is 1 1. Now suppose that Tx is equal to Ty, then Tx minus Ty is equal to 0. T is linear, so we get T of X minus Y is equal to 0. So X minus Y belongs to null space of T, which is equal to singleton 0. So X minus Y is equal to 0 and therefore X is equal to Y. This implies this T is 1 1. Now we see this theorem. Let V and W be vector spaces of equal finite dimension and let T be linear map from V to W. Then the following statements are equivalent. T is 1 1, T is on 2 and rank of T is equal to dimension of V. Now from the dimension theorem we know that the nullity of T plus rank of T is equal to dimension of V. Now by previous theorem we have seen that if T is 1 1, then null space of T contains singleton 0. So nullity of T is 0. So we get rank of T is equal to dimension of V. Now the basis of V was mapped to basis of W. So dimension of V is same as dimension of W. So we get that rank of T is equal to dimension of V if and only if rank of T is equal to dimension W. Now rank of T is dimension of range space of T. So dimension of range space of T is equal to dimension of W. Now if these two dimensions are same and range space of T is contained in W, we get range space of T is equal to W. That is, T is onto map. So these three statements are equivalent. Let us see this example. We have a map T from P2R to P3R by the linear transformations defined by T of fx equal to 2 times f dash x plus integral 0 to x 3 times ft dt. So range space of T is span of T of 1, T of x square. Calculate these three elements. Put fx equal to 1, fx equal to x and fx equal to x square. You get these three vectors. Now, since these three vectors are linearly independent, rank of T is equal to 3. Since dimension of P3R is equal to 4, basis of P3R is 1, x square and x cube. So, since these two numbers are different, we get T is not onto. From the dimension theorem, nullity of T plus rank of T is dimension of P2R. So this nullity of T will come out to be 0. Therefore, null space of T is singleton 0 and thus this map is a 1 1 map. Next example, T is a map from F2 to F2, which is a linear transformation defined by T of A1 A2 is equal to A1 plus A2 comma A1. Now we have to find the null space of T. T of A1 A2 is equal to 0. That is, A1 plus A2 is comma A1 is equal to 0 comma 0. So we get A1 is equal to 0, and if A1 is equal to 0, we get from A1 plus A2 equal to 0, we get A2 is equal to 0. So finally, if T of A1 A2 is equal to 0, we get A1 A2 are 0 0. That is, null space of T contains singleton 0. So this T is a 1 1 map. Now from previous theorem where we have done the equivalence criteria, we get that T must be onto also. Next example, T is a linear transformation from P2R to R cube defined by this map, where the polynomial is mapped to the coefficients. Now we can see that this T will come out to be linear and a 1 1 map. Calculate the null space, it will come out to be singleton 0. This map will come out to be a 1 1 map. Now consider this set S. This set S is linearly independent in P2R because T of S, which is these three vectors, will be linearly independent in R cube. Next theorem, let V and W be vector spaces over field F and suppose V1 to Vn is a basis for V. For W1 to Wn in W, there exists exactly one linear transformations from V to W such that each Vi is mapped to Wi for all I equal to 1 to n. Let us start with the proof. Let x belongs to V. Now since V1 to Vn is a basis for V, we get x is equal to I equal to 1 to n. Then x is equal to summation I equal to 1 to n Ai Vi, where these A1, A2, An are scalars which are unique. We have done this in previous topic. Now we define a map T from V to W defined by T of x is equal to summation I equal to 1 to n Ai Wi. Now we first show that this T is a linear map. Suppose that U and V belongs to vector space V and D be a scalar from field F. Then U is equal to summation I equal to 1 to n Vi and V is equal to summation I equal to 1 to n Ci Vi. All Bi's and Ci's are scalars. Then du plus V is equal to summation I equal to 1 to n dBi plus Ci times Vi, and T of du plus V is equal to d times summation Bi Wi plus Ci summation Ci Wi, which turns out to be d times Tu plus Tv. That is T of du plus V is equal to d times Tu plus Tv. Therefore this is linear. Now each Tvi is equal to Wi for all I equal to 1 to n. To show this T is unique, suppose there is another mapping U from V to W which is linear and U of Vi is equal to Wi. Then for x belonging to V, we have x is equal to summation I equal to 1 to n Ai Vi. So U of x will be mapped to summation I equal to 1 to n Ai U of Vi, which is equal to summation I equal to 1 to n Ai Wi, since each UVi is equal to Wi, which is equal to T of x. So these two are same mapping, so U is equal to T. Corollary, let V and W be vector spaces and suppose that V has a finite basis V1 to Vn. If we have U and T from V to W are linear maps and UVi is equal to TVi for I equal to 1 to n, then U is equal to T. So basically we have to check any two mappings are equal. Generally we see that it is same on every element of the vector space. But if we are able to see it is same for every element of basis, then according to this corollary, both U and T are equal. Last example, let T from R2 to R2 be the linear transformation defined by T of A1 A2 is equal to 2A2 minus A1 comma 3A1, and suppose that U from R2 to R2 be linear. If we have U of 1 2 is 3 3 and U of 1 1 is 1 comma 3, then calculate T of 1 2 and calculate T of 1 1. So you can see that T of 1 2 will come out to be 3 comma 3 and T of 1 1 will come out to be 1 comma 3, and dimension of R2 is 2 and 1 comma 1 and 1 comma 2 are linearly independent. So this set forms a basis for R2, and since both these transformations U and T act same for these two elements of basis, these two mappings are equal, U and T are equal. So you can see that T of 1 comma 2 will come out to be 3 3 and T of 1 comma 1 will come out to be 3 3. These two vectors 1 comma 2 and 1 comma 1 are linearly independent and dimension of R2 is 2. So these two vectors form the basis for R2. So U and T act same for the basis element. So both these transformations are equal on R2. Thank you for watching this video.